guys, it's the Retro Flora podcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Charmy, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracy, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel. Don't be mad at us, because it has been a month. It has been a wild, busy month.
Yeah. Well, happy 4th of July, because that's when this video comes out.
Happy 4th of July. We didn't get to say happy Juneteenth. Juneteenth.
We were on vacation for like a week.
That Juneteenth is our freedom day for real though, because like 4th of July is not our freedom day. We were not free, y'all. So since it took us forever
to get together,
I have 3 stories for you, and these all come from the No Sleep Reddit thread.
Your favorite thing in the world.
Literally love No Sleep Reddit thread. Definitely a rabbit hole venture down, because it's a lot. It's a lot of creepy stuff on there. They've been keeping me up at night. Y'all, it is hot in here. We have to close all the windows because it's so noisy in our area.
Well, it's also summertime.
Yeah, so we're like burning up. So yeah, you might hear me going, because that's me dying. Okay, so the first one comes from the No Sleep Reddit thread, and it's called Ghost Moongazer.
Well, that's what the person...
Yeah, that's what the person... Sorry, it's by Ghost Moongazer. And it's called, I didn't used to have pleurophobia, which is fear of clowns, but then I saw the photo on my phone.
Without further ado, let's get into this.
I let the hot water beat down on my head. I had to get rid of this headache before the meeting. I couldn't figure out why I felt so lousy. My eyes were bloodshot, my mouth felt as dry as the desert wind, and tasted like summer roadkill. Ew.
Yeah, what's with these descriptions?
I needed to look sharp and with it for the meeting. Even if it was online, I could technically be naked from the waist down. I mean, that is true though.
Yeah.
After a good 30 minutes, I got out of the shower feeling a little better. My mouth still tasted like after brushing my teeth, but no one would be able to smell my breath over the internet, and I knew I had eye drops somewhere to perk up my eyes. I went into the bedroom and got dressed. My bed was a mess. I didn't understand why. I thought I'd slept soundly. Didn't even remember getting up to go to the bathroom. I went to straighten it. When I picked up my pillow to fluff it, I noticed a white smudge on the blue fabric. I touched it, greasy, like lotion or makeup. I stared at it, trying to figure out where it had come from, but nothing came to mind. I tossed the pillowcase into the hamper and headed into the kitchen to grab something quick to eat. There was a half-open empty water bottle on the counter. I vaguely remember drinking it. I poured out the rest and grabbed a fresh one from the fridge. I sat down at my desk with water and snacks. Still had 10 minutes before the Zoom. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed one of the couch cushions was crooked. Weird, I haven't even sat on it in days. The meeting started. 18 people. Everything was going fine until my boss, Patricia, asked me to send the group some photos of the housing development I had found while traveling in Holland. I smiled. "You'd be impressed," I said. I opened the photo app on my phone and started scrolling to find the folder. But the last picture on my camera roll wasn't from Holland. The last picture stopped my heart cold. It looked like 4 grotesque figures sitting on a couch. I zoomed in. My pulse went haywire, my skin tightened, and goosebumps rose in waves. "Mandy," Patricia cut through. "Did you find the photos?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. I was locked on that image, trying to make sense of it. "Mandy," this time sharper. My stomach clenched. I felt like I might throw up. I looked at the laptop camera, muttered, "Excuse me," and slammed it shut. I stared at the photo, hands shaking. There were 4 people, 4 clowns. They sat on my couch dressed in black hoodies and black and white clown makeup. They weren't the friendly clowns, not the kind that bumble around at children's parties. They were something else. They looked like a gang member mixed with Art the Clown.
What?
That's crazy.
I hate that clown.
Yeah, I hate that clown too. I hate seeing him. He scares me.
Those movies have no plot.
The first one doesn't, but the second and the third do have a story.
Did you even watch the second one?
No, I listened to someone spoil it, and so I saw the story plot to it. And I was like,
it was stupid.
The first, I don't think it's stupid. It's just not a story plot I would follow. Like, I thought it was, that's interesting, but like, I wouldn't follow it. The first one doesn't have a plot. They even said it when I was listening to spoils. They were like, the first one, it really should be a standalone.
It should all just be him just killing people. That's what you started off with.
He's definitely still doing that. They were all staring straight into the camera, expressionless, dead serious. But this wasn't the worst part. What made my stomach twist and my vision blur was the woman draped across their lap, naked, limp, with their white gloved hands strategically placed on parts of her body you wouldn't show to the world. The woman was me. I felt like my heart was about to explode. My body buzzed with panic. No, this wasn't real. This had to be fake, AI generated, photoshopped. But then I remembered the greasy white smudge on my pillowcase, the water bottle I didn't recall drinking, and how awful I felt when I woke up. Texts were flooding in from Patricia.
I don't know if I'll be scared of clowns for this. I just be scared of like home invasion.
Girl, I'm scared of the fact they're dressed up like clowns. That's it would be different if it was just home invasion and robbers. I mean, them taking pictures with
Would
me.
the ski mask make it better?
No, but it would make it a little less sinister than these people dressed in clown. This is clown makeup. It's not even a mask. Like they intentionally put time in this.
Yeah, I still think the home invasion was the part that would freak me out. And the fact that I'm naked and they're touching me, that would freak me out more.
She was pissed. I needed to answer her, but I couldn't focus with the photo sitting in the gallery like a loaded gun. I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself. It's just a prank, I told myself. Some kind of sick, glitched image or joke. I deleted it. Closed my eyes. Breathed in, breathed out. Then opened my eyes, ready to text her back, but the freaking picture was back on my phone. Clumsy me, I thought, and deleted again, only to see it reappear again and again. Same image, same timestamp, same frozen horror. My chest tightened. I could feel the panic build again. I checked the metadata. It showed it was taken last night and with my phone. Trying not to throw up, I opened the sleep tracker app. It showed I left the bed at 2:17 and returned at 4:42 a.m. Out of the bed for over 2 hours. I had no memory of it at all. There was also a sharp spike in my heart rate, and a location data said I walked around the apartment. I couldn't take it anymore. My hands were shaking and my stomach felt like it was trying to tie itself into knots. I went to the cops. I didn't want to be one of those people, but what else was I supposed to do? 4 strangers might have broken into my apartment, posed with me while I was unconscious.
What do you mean those people? That's a smart thing to do.
That was not a prank. That's assault. I didn't care how crazy I sounded. I had proof, the picture, the timestamp, the sleep data, the greasy white smudge on my pillow, the open water bottle. I knew something had happened. The cop at the front desk looked at the photo for maybe 5 seconds before shrugging. Sorry. Probably AI generated, he said. What? See, we get a lot of these nowadays. People prank each other with fake photos. There's a website where you can make this stuff. I blinked. You think I made this? He shrugged again. Could have been anyone with access to your phone or cloud account. Could be a bug. Try changing your password. Make sure your Bluetooth is off when you sleep. That's it, I asked. You can file a report if you want, but there's no sign of a break-in, no injuries. I don't think they'll be assigning anyone to it. I felt like I had been slapped. That's me. That's my couch. That's my tattoo, I said, and pointed to the purple butterfly on my thigh, clearly visible in the photo. Look, he said, already bored. I'm not saying it's funny. I'm saying that we get this kind of thing a lot. You can file a report, but I doubt anyone's going to take it seriously. And that was it. I left with nothing, just me and that photo. That night I didn't sleep. I kept checking the locks, unplugged everything, the router, Alexa, even my TV. I stuffed a towel under my bedroom door. Not sure why, but I felt safer somehow. Then I sat down in my bed with a kitchen knife and my laptop. Around 2 a.m., I started digging, searching everything I could think of. Phone hacks, phone exploits, deep fake generators, sleepwalking forums. I found a thread buried deep in the tech forum. No username, just long strings of numbers and cryptic replies. Most of the thread was about something called blindfeed.exe. Not a program you can download. It's something that gets pushed to your device through sketchy apps, QR codes, and even shared Wi-Fi. Once it's on your phone, it can access everything. Cameras, mics, sleep data. It can delete files, edit photos, upload them somewhere you'll never find them. But the worst part? It's part of a challenge, a dark web competition. People compete in teams to stage the most creative home invasion photos or videos, drugging their victims, dressing up, posing with them. The most disturbing the photo, the more the views it gets. The more views, the higher the score. The team with the most upvotes wins real money. Some victims never even know they're being featured. Others, well, they figure it out too late. And if your photo keeps coming back after you delete it, that means you're trending. I couldn't stay there. I packed a bag, paid cash, checked into a crappy roadside motel under a fake name. I unplugged everything, shoved a chair between the doorknobs, slept with my phone in a Faraday bag and a knife under my pillow. Still, I woke up at 6:30 with a crawling feeling under my skin. I got up and noticed a piece of paper on the dresser. I hadn't been there when I went to sleep. I was sure of it. It was a printed photo. Me, asleep in a motel bed, surrounded by 4 clowns. 2 crouched beside me, 1 sat on the foot of the bed. The 4th clown was laying next to me, head on the same pillow, his face turned towards mine like a couple. Underneath, typed in big, black, bold letters, "You look better in the first one."
Oh, heck no.
Right. How did you get in here? How did I not hear you getting, like, are they like seeping gas into my
Like,
room?
this makes no sense.
Yeah. I've done everything I can. New name, new place, no smart devices, no Wi-Fi. I sleep with the lights on. Doesn't matter. They're still playing. So if you ever find a photo on your phone that you don't remember taking, if you're unconscious in it and you're not alone, don't delete it. Don't post it. Don't try to track it. Because the more people who see it, the more points they get. And if your phone goes viral, they'll come back for a sequel.
Am I getting paid?
No, you're not getting paid, girl. The payment is they don't kill you. So yeah, that's a good reason to have a fear of clowns.
Like, honestly, she needs to get a boyfriend and they just take turns staying up at night.
Girl, if he's seeping gas in there, the clowns are seeping gas in there, it's not even gonna matter. The next story is by Blade Runner 3027. When we moved into our house, we found a calendar on the wall. Every year, the same 3 dates are marked. Do not go out. My husband, Toby. Sorry, all I think of is pretty hilarious.
I just feel like Toby is an incomplete name. I feel like it should be like Tobias or something. It's just short for Toby, you know? Oh no, Toby is short for Tobias. That's what I mean.
My husband Toby and I might have even noticed it for a while if we hadn't moved into our new house earlier in the year. Moving in this crisp, frigid air of February was much preferable to wiping sweat from our brow whilst we hauled box after box from vans parked outside during the summer, as we had many years prior. That was a long sentence.
Yeah, that was like a very long run-on sentence.
We walked through the giant oak doors that beckoned us into what we hoped would be our forever home, and beyond the hallway into the living room when my husband quit. Was that there before when we had our viewing? I quickly scanned the space before me and shot him a confused look. I never did have good eyesight, nor was I the most observant person. He raised a hand and pointed towards the wall directly opposite us, where a large calendar faced us. The place was unfurnished because we wanted to make it fully our own, and the moving company could easily deliver our stuff the next day. So there wasn't anything to see beyond the bare bones skeleton of the house we had our viewing. It did look out of place amongst the naked walls, but I still didn't take much note of it. For whatever reason though, my husband did and dropped the bag strapped along his shoulder to take a look. Again, it may have been my eyesight, but he seemed to spot the red circle around one of the dates from where we were originally standing. Hey, what do you reckon the date is marked for? He wondered out loud. I walked up beside him and took a look for myself. I don't know. Maybe it's a birthday or something, I spoke, my tone indicating my tiredness and desire to go to bed. Yeah, maybe, but what's that doing here? It wasn't here for the viewing, and some dude's birthday has nothing to do with us, Toby said, ever inquisitive. Overly so when I was already tired. He began to flick through the rest of the months and, with a voice tinged with something beyond his unusual excitement, announced that 2 other dates had been circled in the same red font along with some writing neither of us had noticed to this point. He always did love a good mystery, no matter how small. 3 dates were marked across the year and into the next, and the next. February 6th, June 19th, Juneteenth, and September 21st. Don't go out, faintly written beneath each. Despite my reluctant intrigue and notice of his atypical demeanor, yo, what's up with this? Wait, okay, anyway. I told him, as much as I enjoyed diving into rabbit holes with him, I was too tired to play the guessing game that night, and we promptly carried our suitcase and backpack up the master bed and got ready for bed.
That's a long sentence.
The next morning I woke up to Toby sitting on the couch from our old place. The movers must have delivered and arranged and as paid for whilst I was still sleeping.
Yeah, I don't know why they're writing like this.
He was facing the calendar, scrawling something onto a notepad as my footsteps came within his earshot. He looked up at me and with ever comforting smile that never failed to reach his eyes, welcomed me into our new living room. Only the basics of our old furniture were arranged, and we still needed to organize a lot of the more aesthetic stuff ourselves, but it felt like home. After a brief conversation, he got down to business. He already exhausted his search for a connection between the 3 dates and was trying to find one himself. I lived with and loved my investigative Toby for many years, but I've never seen him like this. It was an obsession at first glance. As I have admitted, the entire thing stirred up a quietly ominous curiosity within me too. Something wasn't quite right with the calendar. Why those dates? Why couldn't we go out? Ever a head in the sand skeptic, I put it down to a joke of some sort, or something left behind by somebody between our viewing and moving in dates. I told myself and Toby over and over, the simplest explanations are always closest to the truth. Nevertheless, his breathless expedition into this particular unknown continued. As February the 6th crept up on us, he remained no closer to the answer he was digging for. So he came up with a plan. After reluctantly agreeing to go along with this whole stay inside for the day rule, mostly to humor him and a tiny bit to give him a playful smug look when his plan amounted to nothing, he asked me to join him on a neighborhood watch. Essentially, he planned to sit by the large window overlooking the lawn and the row of houses across from us all day. He wanted to see if any of the neighbors who, after exchanging the usual pleasantries with the ones we had settled in, he quickly probed about the existence of their own odd calendars, to which they let him know that it came with the house and to kindly never mention it again.
Wait, so they all got a calendar?
Yeah, I guess so. They talked to neighbors about it, and the neighbors told them, don't ever bring that calendar up again. So,
okay, well, you don't have to tell me twice.
We turned the couch around and sat for hours, talking at first about the new house and the calendar, wondering what it all meant, and why every neighbor politely but sternly warned us not to talk about this existence. As the day went on, we grew bored of the guessing game. We moved on to the recalling the day we met, and many days we had together since. It became romantic, intimate, the two of us sitting there entangled in a conversation like that against a scene of life in a sleepy, peaceful suburb. But then Mr. Hudson from across the street went outside. He and his wife had been living in the neighborhood for quite some time, so we went over to introduce ourselves a few weeks prior. It all looked fine at first. We peered more intently through our blinds as he lit a cigarette and took a long, hard drag before obscuring his weathered face in the exhale of smoke that followed.
Why did they write it like this? It's like they're trying too hard.
And just as the cloud took his face out of our focus, he vanished, dematerialized. The cigarette remained suspended, the faint daylight glow of the flame that lit its pulsating in an inconceivable fashion.
This is what I'm talking about.
It dwindled until nothing remained beyond the filter, and as trivial as he disappeared, Mr. Hudson was standing on his lawn again. Burnt out cigarette clung between his fingers as if he had been there the entire time. Toby stared at me with an intense horror that my own eyes must have conveyed too, and neither of us spoke until Mr. Hudson walked back into his and his wife's home.
Wait, I'm so confused. He disappeared and reappeared?
Yes.
What the heck?
And when he reappeared, the cigarette was like pretty much smoked. Did I just see that right? He whispered, voice tainted with a deep unease. Unable to form any words, I only nodded in response as to say I had seen the same thing. We silently agreed to stop watching. Neither of us wanted to see any more of what this was. The rest of that day was spent quietly ruminating with shuttered blinds and a blanket of something profoundly wrong shrouding the house. After far too long, February the 7th finally unshackled us with much trepidation.
Yes, I know.
Sorry, I can't stop laughing
it's
at
like
the writing.
they keep talking. They're trying too hard.
We decided we need to take the short walk across the street. We need to talk to the Hudsons. Just as soon as the final echo of my knock rang out, Mrs. Hudson's kind of old lady demeanor greeted us. What a pleasant surprise! How can we help you boys? Oh yeah, they're a gay couple.
Oh, I was like so confused. I thought that was a girl.
No, she said, her face plastered with a smile that stretched a little too wide, and with Mr. Hudson greeting us with a wave from a few feet behind her. I let Toby lead the conversation. This was his mystery to solve in the first place, after all, even if I had become wrapped up in it too. He hesitated before replying. Sorry to bother, Mrs. Hudson, but did Mr. Hudson leave the house yesterday? We are a little concerned about something we saw. She remained steadfast in maintaining her outward appearance, but something in her eyes stirred. Her reply was subtly tinted with fear, subtly enough that neither of us would have caught it if not for the equally subtle change in her eyes. But still, she replied, "My bill? No, sweetie, I'm afraid you must be confused," before craning her head backwards and loudly asking, "Bill, will you turn the stove off, please? We don't want your favorite soup to burn, do we?" After Mr. Hudson disappeared from the background of our view into the hallway, and in the sliver of opportunity she conjured, she spoke to us with a tone of utmost urgency. "The whisperers get you. Leave before they do, or it will be too late."
Wait, what?
That's all she told them.
The whispers.
The whisperers get you. the whispers will get you. Because she wrote her like whisper, like if you were to say whisper will, but she took out the W-I, so whisper. I don't know how to say it.
I thought if you live here, you get magic powers.
No. What? Girl, are you paying attention?
Yes, because he disappeared and reappeared, so I thought he could do that.
We're in a no-sleep Reddit thread. This is not going to be a happy ending. Mr. Hudson reappeared faster than he could have. Sorry, just imagine it as like you blink and he's just like, yeah, I tried to piss him off. Like, what y'all talking about in here? So, Mr. Hudson reappeared faster than he could have and must have caught the dread-filled look of our faces because he asked if we were okay. Good. If we wanted to come in for some soup.
Nah.
It'll darn sure make you look better, he proclaimed. We declined, said goodbye as politely as we could manage, and struggled through unsteady legs to make the walk back across the street before closing and locking the front door. The next night, as we watched the house from across us again, all the lights behind the curtain windows shimmered on and off for untold minutes before finally sputtering off and staying that way. We never saw Mrs. Hudson again. Our calls to the police after days of imitating the ill-fated neighborhood watch not long prior yielded no results. You know, right? There was another way they could have said that. Yeah. Our calls just went on deaf ears, okay? Like, I don't know what else to tell you. In fact, they reassured us after a visit that no Miss Hudson ever existed.
The cops are in on it.
William Hudson inherited the house from his father and never married. If we hadn't had each other and our collective experience to rely on, I don't believe either of us would have remained particularly convinced of our own sanity. We wanted to heed Mrs. Hudson's advice, but we just bought the place. Still, we quietly searched for a new house. The house knows. Neither of us wanted to be here for the next marked date, but then the whispers started. One of us heard them, and it wasn't me. I held Toby in my arms when he woke up screaming. I comforted him when he heard voices from within the wall. I put the house up for sale and began to pack our things when he stopped being able to function. All he could do was listen to the whispers. He said they beckoned him outside, told him something wonderful was waiting for him out there. And all he had to do, unlock the front door, step outside to see it all for himself. Yesterday was June the 19th, Juneteenth. Our second marked day together. I tried so hard to stop him, but he always, being the bigger one, the stronger one, got past me anyway. I watched as he flickered out of the existence and into somewhere else, and I watched as he came back. I didn't see him come back into the house. As suddenly as he was outside, he was beside me, inside. He smiled at me as if he hadn't seen me in years. But for the first time, the familiar smile didn't reach his eyes.
So, he can go in and out of space now.
So, you're about to end up missing. So that's what happened to his sauce. Well, I don't know.
I love you, but I'm leaving. When he leaves again, just run, girl, run.
This is the guy.
Oh, yeah, run, guy, run.
Well, I mean, you can still be a hey, girl. Run. Okay, this is the last story, and it's written by Zonk-Zebra.
What?
I took a job watching security cameras on a remote island. There's no one left to call.
Wait, what?
You heard the title? 3 weeks ago, I accepted a contract job that sounded too good to be true. $4,000 a week? Whoa.
Okay,
wait. No, that is a good deal. I'm not gonna lie.
Where did you get this job from?
But it is on a no sleep Reddit thread, so I don't think you're ever gonna see that $4,000. So $4,000 a week to monitor a private research facility security feeds on a remote island. The gig came through a defense contractor I freelanced for. Short-term solo placement. Everything provided: food, shelter, satellite comms, and complete autonomy. No tourists, no locals, just me and the monitors. I figured it'd be peaceful.
Wait, I can't camera this from my house, or do I have to be there?
You have to be there.
Oh, heck no, never mind. I'll
stay. $4,000 a week.
I
know it's a bad idea, but like it's so tempting because $4,000 a week is crazy.
Yeah, if I can do this from my house, I'd be good.
No, because then what if the stuff starts happening in your house? Like, obviously something bad is going to happen.
I thought it would be like in his house and he starts seeing stuff, and then he's just like, seeing stuff. I didn't think it would follow him home.
I figured it'd be peaceful. They flew me in a helicopter. No pilot chit-chat, just 45-minute ride over gray water and endless clouds. When we landed, the facilities looked like something from a Cold War movie.
No, that's not good.
Squat concrete buildings, wind-bent trees, and antennas pointed at the sky like dead fingers.
What?
The handoff was quick. A clipboard, a list of passwords, a man in a black coat I never saw again. They told me my only job was to watch the cameras.
This is okay. I know I stopped you, but this is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, but this is way better paid than Five Nights at Freddy's.
That is true.
There are 78 feeds in total: hallways, labs, exterior fences, server rooms. Most are empty, always have been. The only regular activity is the wind shaking branches outside or the slow rotation of fans in the ceiling. I asked once what happened to the staff. The reply came through a satellite phone and a text-only message. You are not authorized for that data. You can't answer that question. By day 3, I was talking to myself just to hear a voice. By day 5, I started sleeping next to the main console. I stopped checking the calendar on day 8. Then, last night, camera 12 went dark.
Well, you said all I do is watch the camera. Since they had to fix them.
Yeah, that's never a good sign though. It's one of the hallway feeds on sub-level 3. I didn't think much of it. The wiring's old and some of the cameras flicker in bad weather. But when I went to check the breaker box, there was no sub-level 3 listed. Just 2 floors on the diagram, ground and sub-level 1. Still, camera 12 existed. It had always been there. I had seen that hallway loop for days, an empty, sterile corridor, until it wasn't. At 2:42 a.m., camera 12 came back online, but the hallway was different. The lights were dimmer, the wall had stains on them, smears something dark like rust or dried blood, and down at the end of the hallway, there was a figure. Not moving, not walking, just standing, facing the camera.
This is just like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Did you rip off Five Nights at Freddy's? Tell us now. I tried zooming in, but the feed began to blur. The figure didn't react. It just stood there, perfectly still, arms at its side, like it had been waiting for me to look. I called the emergency contact number. It rang and rang, then the feed cut to static, not just camera 12, but all 78 cameras.
Okay.
My console rebooted. When the system came back up, camera 12 was gone, like it had never been part of my grid. This morning, I tried to leave. The helicopter's still there, but no radio signal is getting out. The satellite phone just flashes no link. The backup generator is working fine, everything is powered, but I'm alone. Worse, the supply crate in the back room. The one marked for 2 months and 3 months were already opened. Empty. It says, I think they knew. I think this was the real job. Not to monitor anything, not to report anything, but just to be here, to be alone. I started hearing humming through the walls, faint mechanical tunes like a lullaby through static. They're not coming from the speaker or equipment. They're coming from beneath the floor. And sometimes when I sleep, I dream of a hallway I've never been in. Dim lights, cracked tiles, a tall figure at the end of it, not moving, just waiting. If you're reading this, if the connection somehow pushes through, don't reply, don't come. I think I'm already part of whatever this place is. I think the next person they send will be watching me.
See, it wasn't worth $4,000.
Yeah, it wasn't yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, that's...
At least they gotta go home every night.
Yeah,
They chose to come back every day.
So yeah, those are three creepy one. Which one creeped you out the most?
Wait, it was the first one was the clown.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was the whispers. And the third one was the island.
Mm-hmm. Well, the second one's the whispers with the calendar.
With the calendar. I would say the island probably.
The first one scares me.
The first one.
I'm scared.
I mean, that's scary too.
I'm scared to go to sleep tonight.
I think out of all of them, that's probably the most realistic one. Besides them just popping up and knowing everywhere you are.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It makes me think of that movie, Unfriended, the Dark Web or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. As much as everybody hated it, I think they hated it because it didn't really link to
the
first one. But it was creepy how these this community of elites were doing this. Yeah.
I still like the. Well, you know what the problem with the first Unfriended is if it was a ghost that was killing them and not an actual person. I felt like if it was an actual person, I would have liked it better.
Unfriended scared me too. Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye!
That's all, folks. Dun, 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 dun. Don't sue us.
Go away.